Hello my friends, today I am coming at you with 5 tips to help you lose fat faster. Fat loss is hard. There's no way around it. Our bodies are homeostasis machines. This means we have a biological drive to maintain our current weight. So whether you're trying to lose weight or gain weight, you have to push your body to a place that it doesn't necessarily want to be in order to achieve that. And working against that can be very difficult. This is what your body set weight actually is. It's your body's desire to stay in homeostasis and stay where you are, which is why it feels like you have a set weight when you're trying to push out of that weight, but your body doesn't actually have one set weight that it has to stay at forever. Once you get to a new place, that becomes its set weight. I could rant about set weight for an entire video. Maybe I should do that. Let me know if you want a video about set weight, point, weight, set point, weight, set point, weight, set, whatever the term is. Regardless, weight loss is hard. Even if you know what you're doing, you can still fail. So I wanted to bring you guys some quick science-based tips to help you along your journey. And honestly, almost every single one of these is also helpful for building muscle as well. So regardless of what your aesthetic goals are, this video should help you. So let's get right into it. Give this video a thumbs up if you're excited for these tips. Hit that subscribe button to follow me along our weight loss journey, which has been super fun. And if you have anything to add to what I have said, if you have gone through a weight loss journey, have tips that you want people to know about, please leave them down in the comments below. We can all help each other out. With that said, one super quick disclaimer. This is to help you lose fat faster, not necessarily lose fat fast. There's an important distinction between the two. Losing fat fast through crash dieting, major restriction, over exercise, just doing things not the healthy way, often leads to regaining the fat and more, and just having a really hard time actually losing fat and keeping it off. I could give you tips to lose fat real fast, but I can almost guarantee they would not work in the long term. So I'm not gonna do that. The faster way to do it is doing it healthy, but making it even faster so that you keep the weight off and don't yo-yo back and forth for years. Basically, don't try to lose weight really fast. It's a really bad idea and it won't work and it's unhealthy. So are we all on the same page about that? Yeah? Good? Okay. Tip number 1, if you've tried losing weight in the past, whether you were successful or failed at it, you probably need to do this. Like 85% of the clients that come to me need to do this. And that is reverse diet first to boost your metabolism. A lot of people think that they are cursed with a slow metabolism or that they've damaged their metabolism in some way because they're eating very, very little and either not able to lose weight or gaining weight on very little. Clearly not an ideal situation if you're trying to lose weight. But here's the good news. Your metabolism is not broken just because it's slow. Your metabolism is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Your metabolism is designed to adapt to your calorie intake because, as I said at the beginning, our bodies are homeostasis machines. They want us to stay at the weight that we are. And so if you start chronically under eating, your metabolism is gonna do specifically what it's supposed to do. Slow down to match your calorie intake so that you stop losing weight. But the good news is that this works in both directions. If you start eating less, your metabolism slows down. You start eating more, your metabolism will speed up. Now, you might be terrified of doing this because you're trying to lose weight. Why would you try eating more? I will tell you from personal coaching experience and just seeing a lot of other people go through this process, a lot of people manage to lose weight and lose fat on reverse diets, especially if they've been chronically dieting for years. Some people do gain some weight. Usually these are the people that are skinny fat and actually need to gain some healthy muscle weight. Some people just maintain weight. But no matter what your body does during the process, you end up with a faster metabolism. So even if you gain a few pounds, you'll be able to lose that and more because your metabolism is actually functioning at a healthy rate. And so instead of being stuck where you currently are, unable to lose more weight, yeah, maybe you gain a couple pounds, but you can lose the rest of it after that. And the steps to reverse diet are relatively simple. Number 1, increase calorie intake by a small incremental amount every week. Number 2, resistance train. For a lot of people, I recommend a weekly 50 calorie increase. So week 1, you're eating 1200, week 2 you're eating 1250, week 3 you're eating 1300, etc., etc. And then for resistance training, I really recommend just getting a good resistance training program and following it to a T. You can use my program, Brains and Gains. It's actually designed very well for reverse diet. You could also use a MINDPUMP program. Their programs are amazing. I'll link to that down in the description. Anything that's just heavy resistance training focused. And that's pretty much it. You just keep increasing calories every week until you're at a point where you're maintaining on a healthy amount of calories. If you have more questions about the specifics of like nitty-gritty reverse dieting, I do a whole step-by-step video on that, so I'll leave a link to that down in the description box below. But once you get to your new maintenance calories, you're going to be able to lose fat a lot faster, a lot more efficiently, and keep it off because you're not trying to maintain weight on 1,200 calories anymore. You're maintaining weight on 2,500 calories. And so you'll be able to basically eat to your heart's content and not regain the weight. I know it might sound too good to be true. It's literally magical. Like, I've taken so many people through this process and it's just mind-blowing every time. Highly recommend starting there. Tip number 2 is also something that I mention quite often, but again, not something I've like sat down and outlined in quite a while. Most of these tips are things I mention here and there a lot, but I wanted like one video that just like concretely outlines all of them. So tip number 2 is implementing mini cut cycles. This will prevent the plateau that most people hit a couple weeks, or if you're lucky, a couple months into their weight loss journey. There's nothing more frustrating than initially getting great results and then having those slowly taper off and just being like, why am I not getting results anymore? This was working a month ago and now I'm going nowhere. The reason that happens is exactly what I talked about in my last tip, which is that the body is an adaptation machine. It's driving homeostasis, and so your metabolism is going to adapt to your calorie intake. So if you stay at 1 calorie intake for enough time, that won't be a deficit anymore. That'll be your new maintenance calories. The way to prevent this is to take regular diet breaks to prevent the metabolic slowdown and adaptation to your calorie deficit, so that you can consistently lose weight on the same calorie deficit over time. There's this really great study, really well done, called the Matador study. And in this study, researchers took a group of men and divided them into 2 groups. Group 1 was the continuous dieting group. They were put in a certain percentage calorie deficit and just stayed in that calorie deficit for 16 weeks straight. Group 2 was the intermittent dieting group, or diet break group, where they alternated every 2 weeks between that same percentage calorie deficit and then 2 weeks at maintenance. So they spent 30 total weeks dieting, but only 16 total weeks, so the same amount of time as the continuous group, actually in that calorie deficit. And the results are illuminating. Not only did the diet break group lose more total weight by about 50%, but also more of that weight came from fat rather than non-fat mass. So they lost significantly less muscle and more fat compared to the continuous dieting group. And here's the kicker, the resting metabolic rate, so the number of calories that they burned just completely at rest during the day, stayed a lot higher than the continuous dieting group, which basically reflects the fact that their metabolism did not slow down nearly as much to adapt to their calorie deficit as the continuous dieting groups did. So with regular diet breaks, you lose more weight. More of that weight comes from fat, so you're losing less muscle also, which means you're gonna end up in a better, more favorable body composition, and your metabolism stays higher. Yes, this does mean you spend more total weeks focusing on fat loss, not necessarily in a deficit, but it was 16 weeks versus 30 weeks. But because your metabolism is faster, you've lost more fat, you're less likely to gain it back, which means you're going to ultimately have to put less total time into your fat loss journey. So how do you implement this? The protocol followed in the study was 2 weeks in a deficit, 2 weeks at maintenance. You can totally do that, but depending on how aggressive you want to be with it, I generally recommend about 3 to 4 weeks in a deficit and then 1 to 2 weeks at maintenance. Again, I do have a whole video that goes more in depth into this, so I'll link that down in the description box below as well. This next tip is something that I usually tack on to the end of a list because, to be honest, it's not very sexy, but this is something that I personally feel has made one of the biggest differences in my failed fat loss journey about a year ago and my current fat loss journey that is going very, very well. And this is getting enough consistent, good quality sleep. I cannot emphasize how much of a difference this will make for you on your journey. If you're getting 6 hours of sleep a night and struggling to lose fat, just aim for 8 and just watch what happens. There are numerous reasons that getting enough sleep will help with fat loss. Number 1 is that a lack of sleep causes a cortisol spike. As we all know, cortisol causes fat storage, so that's not helpful. Lack of sleep also severely impacts your body's response to insulin As we all know, insulin is the fat storage hormone. So if your insulin's out of whack, you're gonna be storing more fat. There's a lot of studies on this, but there was one study in particular that showed that after 4 days of insufficient sleep, the body's ability to process through insulin reduced by 30%. That's not good. There was another study that took people who were in a calorie deficit trying to lose fat and had them restrict sleep over a 14-day period. They found that the amount of weight lost from fat decreased by 55%, and the amount of weight lost from fat-free mass, so like your muscle mass, which is what you're not trying to lose when you're in a calorie deficit, increased by 60%. Goodbye to your booty gains. The decrease in insulin sensitivity also leads to your body wanting more glucose in order to function properly, which means it's going to be driving you to eat literally all of the sugar. Lack of sleep also decreases your self-control, so like good luck. I talk a lot about different supplements that can help with your sleep quality, so I'm not gonna go super hardcore into detail with that because I feel like I've talked that to death, but just a quick little overview. One of my absolute favorites, ashwagandha, helped me a ton, it's helped a ton of my clients. Another one, CBD. GABA can also have a huge impact on sleep quality for a lot of people. And magnesium. A lot of people are deficient in magnesium, and if you're deficient, your sleep quality goes down. Something that I personally have found tremendously helpful in boosting my sleep quality and decreasing my latency, which is just like the amount of time it takes me to fall asleep, has been adding in meditation. Meditation can be, I mean, it has a lot of benefits, but if you're looking to improve your sleep, it can also have tremendous benefits for your sleep quality. When you meditate, a variety of physiological changes occur in your body. It helps increase melatonin, which is the sleep hormone. It increases serotonin, which boosts melatonin. It reduces your heart rate. It decreases blood pressure. It activates areas in your brain that help promote better sleep. There was a really cool 2015 study where researchers analyzed how a mindfulness meditation could impact the sleep of 49 participants who had mild sleep issues. They compared the effects of 6 weeks of meditation versus 6 weeks of sleep hygiene practices. And what they found is that the meditation group experienced fewer insomnia symptoms and better daytime energy, which indicates better sleep quality overall. Told you guys a couple weeks ago that I have just been going through some emotionally challenging times, and as such, I would go to bed and my brain would just be doing the thing, you know, that keeps you from falling asleep for like hours. So I was like, all right, we gotta do something about this. I was like, meditation is what makes sense. So I started using this app called Aura because I've been wanting to incorporate meditation forever into my regular life, but just the idea of having to spend like 20, 30 plus minutes just sitting there makes my type A, highly stressed brain just be like, no. That's too much time. We can't do this. But Aura has a lot of like 5-minute meditations, 3-minute meditations, and that felt a lot more accessible to me. The idea of spending 3 to 5 minutes stressed me out a lot less than like, I already can't sleep, it's already been 20 minutes, I'm gonna spend another 20 to 30 minutes lying here and not sleeping. So having access to 3 to 5 minute meditations just made it a lot easier for me. I loved Aura so much, I wanted to get you guys a discount code, so they are sponsoring this video. Big thank you to them. Aura is a new mindfulness meditation and sleep app that's won the Best of Apple Award, been used by over 5 million people, and it's the first meditation app that I've used that actually made me want to stick with it. And it has a lot more than just like 3 to 5 minute sleep meditations. It's a all-in-one like well-being, wellness, and sleep app. It has thousands of meditations, it has stories, it has life coaching, it has talks on spirituality, and the content is created by hundreds of expert coaches and therapists from around the world. And it uses billions of data points to personalize its recommendations for you, so it's not like a one-size-fits-all meditation app where it just recommends the same thing to everyone. It makes it really easy to immediately find stuff that is actually going to help you and benefit you, which I think is why I've probably stuck with this one as opposed to other meditation apps that I've tried, because it takes all the thinking out of it. Like I can just open it and it has the recommendations, click on it, and I don't have to think about it. So I have a link for you guys, I'll leave it here, it's in the description box below. You can click on the link and start with the quiz, which is what kicks off the personalization of the app. It gives you recommendations for tracks for sleep, for mindfulness, for whatever it is that you're looking for. And the first 500 of you to click on the link will get a free trial and 25% off. So if you want in, make sure you get in quickly because that's gonna go fast. So check that out. I am not lying when I say that has been the biggest game changer for me with my sleep that I have implemented probably within the last year. Other things that you can do to improve your sleep include having a consistent routine. When your circadian rhythm is set, it's a lot easier for your body's hormones to fluctuate naturally and help you get into deeper sleep faster. Wear blue blockers before bed, or just like avoid blue light before bed. Have your bedroom at an optimal sleep temperature, which is 65 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever feels most comfortable for you. There's a lot of different things that you can do to improve your sleep. I also have a video about that. I'll link that down in the description too. All right, tip number 4 is about exercise. And it's like the #1 tip for exercise for fat loss by far. Resistance train. Lift those heavy things. Build the muscle, get stronger. A lot of people, women in particular, shy away from resistance training because they don't want to get bulky. They don't want to build and get bigger. First of all, you can find thousands of examples on Instagram of women who lift heavy that do not look bulky. So like, please just have a scroll. But lifting heavy is drastically going to boost your body's ability to lose fat. Number 1, the more muscle you have, the higher your resting metabolic rate is. This means the more calories, i.e. fat, your body is going to burn at rest. When you're sleeping, when you're sitting there studying, when you're typing away at your desk at your day job, your body's gonna be burning more fat. So it's indisputable that muscle tissue will burn more calories than adipose or fat tissue on your body. When you look at the actual numbers though, the static tissue itself, muscle does burn a little bit more, but it's not a lot. And this has led to people saying, no, this is entirely wrong. Muscle doesn't burn more calories than fat. It's a minimal difference. But here's the thing. Looking at the specific calorie burn for the static tissue, like outside of the body, separate from the metabolic system that is your body, doesn't paint the full picture. There was an actual fascinating study recently published in the FASEP journal that shows that resistance training can regulate fat cell metabolism at a molecular level. The study showed that in both mice and in humans, resistance training causes the muscle cells to release particles called extracellular vesicles that go from the muscle tissue into the fat tissue and give them instructions to enter fat burning mode. So just by a product of the mechanical load on the body, you prime your body to burn more fat. So as you can see, the body is way more complex than like 1 pound of muscle tissue burns X number of calories and 1 pound of adipose tissue burns Y number of calories. There's a whole series of metabolic processes that occur in the body when you put your body under mechanical load, when you resistance train, that help prime the body for fat burning. So even if you're not actively like trying to build muscle, like if you're super happy with the amount of muscle that you have on your body, you should still be resistance training if you're trying to lose fat. Tip number 5 is one that I think a lot of us neglect, but a lot of us need to be working on given just how life works these days and what's going on in the world these days, and that is managing your stress. Back in the good old days of living in caves and lions and tigers and bears, oh my, our biggest stressors were lions and tigers and bears, and stress was a good thing because stress helped us escape them or kill them or whatever we did when we were cave people to not get eaten. But those stressors were acute stressors. It was, oh no, I'm gonna die, stress, you either die or the stress goes away. But in today's day and age, we are constantly being exposed to, at minimum, very low-grade stressors throughout the day. Sitting in traffic, social media, just environmental toxins are also a stressor on the body. Your body doesn't know the difference between that guy that cuts you off in traffic on your way to work in the morning and the tiger chasing after you. When you have cortisol, the stress hormone, just pumping through your veins, your body tries to hold on to more fat, and it's a lot harder for your body to release fat. During times of stress, your body wants to make sure you always have energy ready to go in case you need to sprint away from a tiger. And so it keeps your blood sugar higher, which ultimately makes you less sensitive to insulin. And as we talked about with sleep, being less sensitive to insulin is bad news bears for fat loss. This is why when you're stressed, you crave more sugar because your body is trying to keep those energy stores higher so that you can fight a bear. I swear I actually know how to throw a punch. That was very sad. My personal favorite way to reduce stress is to-do lists and keeping a really organized calendar. I used to be so anti-calendar. My mom would always be like, Marissa, write down your school assignments in a calendar, write down a list of everything you have to do. I was like, no, I can keep track of everything. And then as soon as I started actually writing everything down, I was like, wow, I'm so much more organized. I'm so much less stressed. This is amazing. Thanks, Mom. But another practice that I highly recommend implementing that I've seen a lot of success with a lot of other people is journaling. There are studies that show that regular journaling can decrease stress levels. Also, a regular meditation practice, amazing for balancing cortisol levels. Again, recommend using Aura for that, but like there's so much research on meditation and stress. It's just, you should be doing it. And just like brain health and meditation is so good for you. Again, there are a lot of supplements that I discuss all the time that help balance stress. I'll just mention those really quickly. Again, CBD, the adrenal support tonic from Symbiotica is one of my favorites. Those are my current go-tos, I think. Also, ashwagandha, really good at balancing cortisol. Reishi can be helpful. But as you guys know, I usually recommend implementing diet and lifestyle practices before you try adding in supplements to just like patch holes in the ship that is your body. So if you can implement these 5 tips, I can guarantee you're going to lose fat faster than you would otherwise, and it's gonna be so much easier to keep it off in the long run, which is really the goal, because again, if you keep losing fat and regaining it, your fat loss journey is endless. You want to just do it and be done with it and not have to think about it again. But if you guys have any other fat loss tips that helped you on your journey, please leave them down in the comments below. While you're down there, check the link in the description to check out Aura. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It really does support me and my channel. I really genuinely appreciate it. Please share this video with your friends, your family, and your neighbors. If you want to see more videos from me all about health and fitness, you can check them out over here. To see future videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the little notification bell so you get notified when I post a video, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!